Hey everyone, I'm Delight and today I'm going to show you how to crochet this super cute little amigurumi pumpkin. So it's a beginner friendly pattern because you're mostly just doing single crochets. You'll also need to know how to change color from the green to orange and how to do a decrease or single crochet two together. And don't worry, I will be showing you how to do it in this video. It's also a great pattern because this is all one piece. You don't have to sew the green stem on top of the pumpkin. You can just do it all in one piece. So anytime you don't have to sew, I think that's a win. Let's talk about materials and then we'll get started. You're gonna need some yarn, green and orange, or we have white pumpkins, we have light green pumpkins. I would love to find yarn that's that color. We need a crochet hook. I like to use a small crochet hook for when I'm doing a project like this, like a stuffy. This one is a G6 4.25 millimeter hook. Then of course, scissors for when you're finishing up and stitch markers. This is so helpful when you're crocheting in the round like this project. So I definitely recommend getting a pack of stitch markers. Okay, oh, almost forgot, very important step, polyfill. Oh, it's upside down. People always ask me, that's like the first question whenever I do a project like this. Let me know in the comments if this is the case for you too. People are always like, what do you stuff that with? And that's what it is. You're not gonna need this big of a bag, obviously, for this project, so you can feel free to get a smaller bag, but let's get started. We're gonna start with green and crochet the stem. So we're going to do a magic circle. If you're not sure how to do a magic circle, I have a more detailed video. Now I'm going to do 6 single crochets in the magic circle. I have a more detailed video on this part of getting started. I like to go around the tail. One, two, three, four, 5, 6. Okay, so now we're going to increase, which is just 2 single crochets in 1 stitch. And now I'm going to use my stitch marker and I'm going to continue like that, 2 single crochets all the way around. So that was the first 2 rounds. We now have 12 stitches in our circle. And now I like to leave my stitch marker where it is because now we're gonna do 5 rows plain, which means we're gonna, sorry, rounds, not rows. We're gonna do 5 rounds plain, which means we're just gonna do regular single crochet in each stitch around. So we're gonna do 5 rounds. Hard to work around this, but I like to leave, this is just a habit that I do personally, I like to leave my stitch marker in the last row where I did an increase or decrease, so I can easily count once I do my 5 rounds plain. So I will come back and catch up with you after I do 5 rounds, and that'll be the end of the stem already. It's that quick. All right, here are my 5 rows plain single crochet. Now I'm ready to switch to orange. So the way I like to switch colors is I leave the last step undone of my last single crochet in this round. So normally to finish my crochet, I would yarn over and pull through these 2 loops with my green, but instead I'm going to loop my orange on here and pull through like that. Now we're ready to get started on round 8, and we are going to do an increase or 2 single crochets in each stitch around. So we're going to go from 12 stitches in the last round of green to 24 stitches in this round of orange. So I have now done an increase in every stitch around. This is going to be round 9. I'm going to increase in the first stitch And then I'm gonna put my stitch marker in that first stitch, and then I'm going to single crochet in the next stitch, increase, and then, goodness, there we go. Increase and then single crochet. So just like that, every other stitch, increase and single crochet all the way around. We're gonna be now on round 10. We are going to do an increase in our first stitch. And put my stitch marker back. And then we're gonna do 2 single crochets and then increase in the next stitch and do 2 single crochets in the next 2 stitches around like that. And by the time we get to the end of this round, we're going to have 48 stitches. Now we are at the beginning of round 11, and we're going to start with an increase again. This is our last round that will increase. And then we will do 3 single crochet stitches in the next 3 stitches. And we'll go around like that. And then by the end of this round, we will have 60 stitches in our round, and we will be done with our increases. Here's how we're looking. I've got my ends tied together and tucked up into the stem there. And we're on round 12. And we're actually gonna do the same thing for 15 rounds now. So this is when you get to turn on a podcast or a show. Maybe the Gilmore Girls, get some fall vibes going, because now you just go around and around and around for 15 rounds. You're gonna keep the stitch count at 60, and this is gonna be the kind of the body of your pumpkin. Okay, I just did a couple more rounds here, but I wanted to show you how this looks a little bit ruffly, and it's not very pronounced, but see how that's not straight, how it's curved right here? That is what we did when we did so many increased stitches on this row of orange, or the first round of orange. So you can see it like that too. There's a good example. So that is on purpose. Just in case you start to wonder if something's gone wrong, because normally when you're working in the round, that's not a good sign. It's a sign you have too many stitches. But in this case, it is a feature, not a bug. So just keep going. If you notice that, it's all going to work out in the end. Okay, I have done 15 rounds plain. Now I'm going to start decreasing. And I am on row 27 now. Okay, so I'll do a close-up here of how to do a decrease, or it's also known as single crochet 2 together. So you put your hook in and pull up a loop, just like you normally would for single crochet. But instead of going around and pulling through, you're gonna put your hook in the next stitch and pull up a loop there as well. Now you have 3 on your hook and you pull through all 3. So now you have made 2 stitches into 1, essentially. And now I'm going to put my stitch marker in that spot. So this is going to make it smaller as we go, and eventually I'm going to be able to close the bottom to make it a stuffy. So we're going to do a decrease, and then we're going to do 3 regular single crochets all the way around for round 27. Gosh, I can't say the right words today. Here's another look at how to do a decrease. It's pretty easy once you get the hang of it. So at the end of round 27, you will have 48 stitches. Now we're on round 28. We're going to start by doing a decrease, and then we're just going to do 2 single crochets before we do another decrease, and 2 more. So by the end of this round, you're going to have 36 stitches. Before I go on to round 29, I'm going to start doing some stuffing because it's going to start getting really small to get the stuffing in there. So I'm going to start with a small piece and get it into the stem really well. And then I'll do bigger pieces. I'm definitely going to be stuffing again as I get closer to tying it off at the end. So for now, I'm just going to kind of get it started. So it is turning out just like I had planned and starting to look like a pumpkin. We just have to finish off the bottom. So we're going to go on to round 29. And in this round, we are going to do a decrease and then just 1 single crochet. And repeat like that all the way around. And the stitch count at the end of this round is going to be 24 stitches. So this is also where you want to try and pull these like as tight as you can. So I am really taking my time and getting these tight to hold the bottom of the pumpkin together. Okay, I just stuffed a bit more stuffing in, and I'll put some more in before I'm done here. Now we're on to round 30. And for this round, we're just going to do decreases all the way around. So we're going to, in every 2 stitches, we're going to crochet them together as a decrease. So by the end, this is again where you want to start holding it as tight as you can. Some of the stitches get pulled a little bit wide. If you don't, or even if you do, can be a little bit tricky here at the bottom, but just do the best you can, stitching tight so we don't have so many spaces, or such big spaces really, between the stitches. And so just decrease all the way around and you'll have 12 stitches in this round. At the beginning now of round 31, it is getting a little bit tricky to work these decreases. I'm still going a decrease in every 2 stitches. And pulling as tight as I can here. I have stuffed it several more times to make sure that there's plenty of stuffing in here. So we're gonna do these decreases all the way around until there is 6 stitches around the inside. But really at this point, we're just gonna decrease until we've pretty much closed up this hole. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this stitch marker out. Don't really need that anymore. And like I said, I'm pulling this as tight as I can. We are seeing a little bit of the white polyfill poking through. For me, that doesn't really bother me because this is going to be decor that's going to sit on my counter, and this is the bottom, so it does not show at all. But if it bothered you and you had some of these decreased stitches, you just couldn't pull them tight enough and you have a little bit of a gap here, what you could do is you could take a tapestry needle and do a little bit of sewing. This is my last stitch here. Oh, it gets so tight at the end. Okay, so that is the last stitch. So what you could do, as I was saying, if this bothers you and you don't like how this got a little gappy here at the bottom, you could leave a really long tail here with your orange, and you could take a tapestry needle and kind of like run it in and out through these gaps, and the orange yarn would fill it in a little bit. Like I said, I'm not gonna bother to do that because it doesn't really bother me. I'm just going to cut this and I'm going to weave in the end. So the easiest way to weave in the end, I already tied a knot here, so you can kind of put your hook in like this and just pull your tail in towards the middle like that. Try not to pull out the stuffing, and then just cut it off. And it should stay pretty well. And that's it. Now you have a pumpkin. If you like this video, give it a like and let me know what type of pattern you'd like to see me do next. Bye.